Bonjour, French 1 students. Here is your teaching video for Lesson 5, pages 70 to 79 in your textbook. S'il vous plaît, ouvrez vos livres à la page 70. Unité 3. Qu'est-ce qu'on fait? Leçon 5. Le français pratique mes activités. Leçon 6. Une invitation. Leçon 7. Une boum. Leçon 8, un concert de musique africaine. So this is where your textbook kind of changes gears. So the first 2 units were really focused on teaching you phrases and getting you speaking French. Now your textbook kind of converts to a more traditional textbook in that you will have a lot of vocabulary always in the first lesson of the unit, and then you will have specific grammar that you will learn throughout the unit. Thème et objectif, daily activities. In this unit, you will be talking about the things you do every day, such as working and studying, as well as watching TV or playing sports. You will learn to describe some of your daily activities, to say what you like and do not like to do, to ask and answer questions about where others are and what they are doing. You will also learn to invite friends to do things with you, to politely accept or turn down an invitation. So these are the things you'll be able to do by the time you take your unit test. Remember, for each lesson, there will be a lesson quiz, and then there will be a unit test at the end. This is the last unit we're going to do this trimester. Leçon 5. Mes activités. Accent sur les activités de la semaine. French teenagers spend a great deal of time on their studies since they and their families consider it important to do well in school. They have a longer class day than American students and are given more homework. However, French teenagers do not study all the time. They also enjoy listening to music, watching TV, and playing computer games. Many participate in various sport activities, but to a lesser extent than American students. On weekends, they like to go out with their friends to shop or see a movie. They also go to parties and love dancing. So they're really just kind of saying that French teenagers are pretty similar to you in the types of things they like to do with their free time. They do tend to go to school for a longer period of time, and they often have considerably more homework than American students do. So Mélanie est à la maison, elle écoute un CD. J'aime le rock anglais. Marc, Elodie et David sont au stade. Ils jouent au foot. Nous jouons au foot. Nous jouons aussi au basket. Nous aimons les sports. Olivier est en ville. Il téléphone. J'aime téléphoner. Je téléphone à une copine. Zania joue aux jeux vidéo. J'aime jouer aux jeux vidéo. J'aime aussi regarder la télé. So, working on this translation here, this is saying Melanie is at home. She is listening to a CD. Melanie says, I like English rock. Mark, Elodie, and David are at a stadium. They play soccer. We play soccer. We also play basketball. We like sports. Oliver is in town. He's telephoning or making a phone call. I like to make phone calls. I'm calling to a female friend. Zanya is playing video games. I like to play video games. I also like to watch TV. So, in this lesson, you're being introduced to a bunch of new vocabulary, things that you may like to do or not like to do. So the first thing we see here is how to talk about what you like and don't like to do. S'il vous plaît, répétez est-ce que tu aimes? Est-ce que tu aimes? Est-ce que tu aimes? this sentence over here. S'il vous plaît, répétez. Est-ce que tu aimes parler français? J'aime. J'aime. Oui, j'aime parler français. Je n'aime pas. Je n'aime pas. Je n'aime pas. Non, je n'aime pas parler français. Je préfère. Je préfère. Je préfère. Je préfère parler anglais. All right, translating these sentences here, and again, looking at the picture in your book might be helpful for figuring some of this out, right? The est-ce que tu aimes parler français is asking, do you like to speak French? The next one, yes, I like to speak French. No, I don't like to speak French. I prefer to speak English. So lots of new vocabulary here. These are all regular ER verbs that later in this unit you will learn how to make match their subject. But today and right now you're just being introduced to this vocabulary. These verbs, notice that they all end in an ER. And that ER in French sounds like a long A. So just listen this time. We have téléphoner, parler français, parler anglais, parler espagnol, manger, chanter, danser, nager. So that ER always sounds like a long A. S'il vous plaît, répétez téléphoner, téléphoner, parler français, parler français, parler anglais, parler anglais, parler espagnol, parler espagnol, manger, manger, chanter, chanter, danser, danser, nager, nager. On the next page, there are some more vocabulary. Again, this first time, just listen. Jouer au tennis, jouer au basket, jouer au foot, jouer aux jeux vidéo, regarder la télé, écouter la radio, dîner au restaurant, voyager. S'il vous plaît, répétez jouer au tennis, jouer au tennis, jouer au tennis, jouer au basket, jouer au basket, jouer au basket, jouer au foot, jouer au foot, jouer au foot, jouer au jeu vidéo, jouer au jeu vidéo, jouer au jeu vidéo, regarder la télé, regarder la télé, regarder la télé, écouter la radio, écouter la radio, écouter la radio, dîner au restaurant, dîner au restaurant, Dîner au restaurant. Voyager. Voyager. And then a couple things that you might not enjoy doing quite as much. Again, we have étudier and travailler here. Be careful, travailler often gets mistaken for meaning to travel, but it doesn't. To travel is voyager, and travailler means to work. You probably don't want to mix those two up. S'il vous plaît, répétez, étudier, étudier, travailler, travailler. The language comparisons in French as in English, people often shorten words. For example, the words basketball, football, and télévision are often shortened to basket, foot, and télé. In French, foot or football refers to soccer. So if you do want to talk about American football, you have to say jouer au foot américain. That would be football like we think of football. So let's take a look at exercice 2 on la page 76 on page 76. Tu aimes ou tu n'aimes pas. Say whether or not you like to do the following things. Example, chanter, which means to sing. So if you like to sing, you're going to say j'aime chanter. If you don't like to sing, you're going to say je n'aime pas. So if you like it, you're going to use j'aime in your response every time. If you don't like it, you're going to use je n'aime pas in your response every time. So again, this is a speaking activity where I would like you to respond with the video or to the video. And then again, you will hear a confirmation from me. S'il vous plaît, répétez j'aime, j'aime, je n'aime pas, je n'aime pas. So numéro 1, manger. J'aime manger. Je n'aime pas manger. Remember, manger means to eat. 2, étudier. J'aime étudier. Je n'aime pas étudier. Remember, étudier means to study. Numéro 3, danser. J'aime danser. Je n'aime pas danser. Remember, danser means to dance. Numéro 4, téléphoner. J'aime téléphoner. Je n'aime pas téléphoner. Remember, téléphoner means to make a phone call. Numéro 5, voyager. J'aime voyager. Je n'aime pas voyager. Remember, voyager means to travel. 6, travailler. J'aime travailler. Je n'aime pas travailler. Remember, travailler means to work. Numéro 7, regarder la télé. J'aime regarder la télé. Je n'aime pas regarder la télé. Remember, regarder la télé means to watch television. Numéro 8, dîner au restaurant. J'aime dîner au restaurant. Je n'aime pas dîner au restaurant. Dîner au restaurant means to eat out in a restaurant. Numéro 9, jouer au basket. J'aime jouer au basket. Je n'aime pas jouer au basket. Remember, jouer au basket means to play basketball. 10. Jouer aux jeux vidéo. J'aime jouer aux jeux vidéo. Je n'aime pas jouer aux jeux vidéo. Remember that jouer aux jeux vidéo means to play video games. 11. Écouter la radio. J'aime écouter la radio. Je n'aime pas écouter la radio. Remember that écouter la radio means to listen to the radio. 12. Parler français. J'aime parler français. Je n'aime pas parler français. Remember, parler français means to speak French. All right, we're also going to do exercise 4, dialogue. Mark is asking Leah if she likes to do certain things. She replies that she prefers to do other things. Play both roles. Note the question mark means you can invent an answer. So we're actually just going to do 1 through 4. So look at our example prompt. We see the picture of swimming and the picture of the tennis racket. So we have est-ce que tu aimes nager? Oui, mais je préfère jouer au tennis. So the part of the question that will be the same every time is the est-ce que tu aimes, because you're asking, do you like? And then all you're going to do is you're going to change nager to whatever the top picture is. In the response, the oui, mais je préfère will be the same every time. You're going to change then the rest of that, okay, to whatever you see in the bottom picture. So, s'il vous plaît, répétez, est-ce que tu aimes? Est-ce que tu aimes? Oui, mais je préfère. Oui, mais je préfère. So, numéro 1, go ahead and say those 2 lines. If you need to pause the video, go ahead. Est-ce que tu aimes jouer au basket? Oui, mais je préfère jouer au foot. 2. Est-ce que tu aimes parler anglais? Oui, mais je préfère parler espagnol. Numéro 3. Est-ce que tu aimes chanter? Oui, mais je préfère danser. Numéro 4. Est-ce que tu aimes écouter la radio? Oui, mais je préfère regarder la télé. B. Vocabulaire suite. How to talk about what you want, would like, and do not want to do. So after these ... dots, you would use that same vocabulary that we just learned today, right? These different activities here, okay? So, s'il vous plaît, répétez, je veux, je veux, je veux, je veux parler français. Je voudrais, je voudrais, je voudrais, je voudrais voyager en France. Je ne veux pas. Je ne veux pas. Je ne veux pas. Je ne veux pas étudier aujourd'hui. So this top sentence is saying, I want to speak French. The middle one is saying, I would like to travel in France. And the bottom one is saying, I don't want to study today. Let's take a look at exercise 6, weekend. Leah and her friends are discussing their weekend plans. What do they say they would like to do? So again, we see Leah thinking about tennis. So the je voudrais is going to be in all of your answers, and then you're going to put after the je voudrais whatever the person is thinking about. So for Leah becomes je voudrais jouer au tennis. S'il vous plaît, répétez je voudrais. Je voudrais. So numéro 1, Jérôme. Je voudrais nager. Numéro 2, Monique. Je voudrais dîner au restaurant. Numéro 3, Jean-Louis. Je voudrais danser. Numéro 4, Caroline. Je voudrais jouer au basket. Numéro 5, Patrick. Je voudrais écouter la radio. Alright, some more vocabulary about invitation, so how to invite a friend. S'il vous plaît, répétez est-ce que tu veux? Est-ce que tu veux? Est-ce que tu veux? Est-ce que tu veux jouer au tennis? Est-ce que tu peux? Est-ce que tu peux? Est-ce que tu peux? Est-ce que tu peux parler à mon copain? Avec moi? Avec toi? Est-ce que tu veux dîner avec moi? So those sentences are asking, do you want to play tennis? Can you talk to my friend? And do you want to have dinner with me? So how to accept an invitation? S'il vous plaît, répétez oui. Bien sûr. Oui, bien sûr. Oui. Merci. Oui, merci. Oui. D'accord. Oui, d'accord. Je veux bien. Je veux bien. Je veux bien. These couple little sentences right here, please. S'il vous plaît, répétez oui, bien sûr. Je veux bien. Oui, merci. Je veux bien. Dîner avec toi. So that top one is saying, yes, of course, I'd love to. Yes, thank you, I'd love to have dinner with you. Also, how to turn down an invitation. S'il vous plaît, répétez je regrette, mais je ne peux pas. Je regrette, mais je ne peux pas. Je regrette, mais je ne peux pas. Je regrette, mais je ne peux pas dîner avec toi. Je dois. Je dois. Je dois. Je dois étudier. So this is saying, I'm sorry, but I can't have dinner with you. I must study. Right, the note culturel about le téléphone. French teenagers, like their American counterparts, love to talk with their friends on the phone. At home, they can use the family phone, but now more and more young people also have a cell phone, which is called un téléphone portable, or simply un portable for short. Portable comes from the French verb porter, which means porter, which means to carry. So remember, our book is fairly old at this point, over 20 years old. Certainly now teenagers in France, like you here in the United States, most everyone has a cell phone. Europeans have been ahead of Americans in the use of mobile phones. In France, for instance, almost half of the people own a cell phone. This proportion is higher with teenagers and college students. Cell phones have many advantages. You can call your friends from wherever you are and whenever you want. And if you are going to be late for dinner, you can call and let your parents know. Cell phones, however, can be annoying and even distracting. In France, it is illegal to make cell phone calls while driving a car. Moreover, students are not allowed to bring cell phones to class. It is also considered impolite to use them in restaurants, cinemas, and concert halls. So remember, our book is about 20 years old. So 20 years ago, half of the people in France already had a cell phone. That was not the case here in the United States at that time. So, l'étiquette téléphonique. To introduce yourself when phoning a friend, you say, Allô, ici Thomas, bonjour, ça va? If your friend is not home and if a parent answers, you say, Allô, ici Thomas Rémy, bonjour, monsieur or madame. Est-ce que je pourrais parler à Mélanie? If you would like to leave a message, you ask, Est-ce que je peux laisser un message? Before hanging up, you say, Merci, monsieur or madame, au revoir. Your homework. On page 76, you're doing exercice 2. We did this one out loud. Remember that you are going to either start your answers with j'aime or je n'aime pas, depending upon whether you like to do the activity. So for number 1, if you like to eat, you would write j'aime manger. In number 2, if you don't like to study, you would write je n'aime pas étudier. So you're going to write out either a j'aime or a je n'aime pas sentence for the 12 of those. On exercise 6 on page 77, we also did this one out loud. Remember, the je voudrais was in all of our answers. So for number 1, because Jerome is thinking about swimming, you would answer je voudrais. Oops, should spell voudrais correctly. Nager. So again, you're going to write out a je voudrais sentence for the 5 of those. Au revoir. À demain.